Hello everyone, my name is Legend Ronnie and this game is Rise of Kingdom. Choose the right civilization, or which is the best civilization? This is one of the questions that I get the most during my live stream, and I was a couple of times asked to renew my civilization video. Well, here I am. I'm gonna renew my civilization video, and to answer you which is the best civilization, all of them have a very good importance depending on what you want to do into the game. If I just tell you like Arabia is the best civilization, see you later, would that make any sense to you? Probably not. So I cannot just say one civilization is the best because we have three type of units in the game. We have cavalry, we have archers, and we have infantry. All civilizations, they have a very good importance in the game, and I'm gonna explain for both pay to win and free to play players. I'm most likely gonna start with the free to play players, and then I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth about pay to win, and not necessarily pay to win. You could also say it as choosing a specific role in your alliance, right? Because we are getting to the point, which is exactly that I was keep talking in many of my videos, that we get to the point when we literally have so many commanders we can choose from, that each player can have a specialization. So you can have only cabs on the battlefield, you can have only infantry on the battlefield, or you can have only archers on the battlefield. It's already starting. People are already applying that strategy. I can literally do 5 marches of cavalry if I want. Many players, they are doing 4 marches of infantry, or even 5. You can do even 5, but I'm so about the 5th one. So there's options, there's already options about that, but again, we are going on that path with the game. So there's definitely a lot to talk about civilizations. People don't actually pay so much attention later in the game about civilization, and I will give you in the video, I will give you a couple of examples. There is actually one video where I recorded and I said that there is a couple of mistakes that those players have done. When I'm gonna get to that, I'm gonna explain it, the mistakes they have done. So let's start with the free-to-play players, right? Because you're free-to-play, you want to choose the best civilizations. Now, the most of you, just because when you start the game, it shows you the arrow on the bottom, the majority of the players, they choose Rome. So Rome is not actually a bad choice. The only bad choice is Scipio Africanus. Scipio Africanus as a starting commander, it's a no-go. That is the actual truth. So Rome for free to play is not bad, but not at the beginning of the game and not as a starting commander. So at the beginning of the game for free to play, you want to choose something like Britain, because you start with a peacekeeping commander. Boudica as a peacekeeping commander has a 20% experience gain. So you use Boudica as a primary commander, and then you should put as a second commander the desired commander that you want to level up. Maybe it's Pelagius, maybe it's Sansu, and that way that commander is going to gain the same experience as Boudica, and then you're going to fast level up the desired commander by killing barbarians or guardians. So this is one recommendation, that you can start with Britain as a starting commander. At level 10 you get a civilization change, so just in case you've done the wrong mistake at the beginning, they actually give you the option to change your civilization for free. So you get a free civilization change. So if you start with Britain, then usually my advice, and it still remains my advice, would be to switch to Spain. Now the reason I always advise to switch to Spain is because of the 10% experience gain from barbarians and other neutral units. And those are the guardians or the sentinels that are protecting the sanctuary and the shrines. On top of that, you have cavalry. If you're a free-to-play, you shouldn't actually focus so much on infantry, even though they are good and they are very, very tanky, especially if you work on commanders like Richard or Charles Martel. Infantry is really, really good and tanky, but if pay to win catch you, that's a lot of hospital build for you, because those guys have max technology. And just because they have max technology, doesn't matter what they hit you with. Cavalry, it doesn't matter, because they have the stats and they overpower you by stats, they swarm you. Is exactly what I'm doing. I don't care if it's infantry. I have 4 cav marchers on the battlefield, sometimes 5 or 4 and 1 archer, and I just literally demolish the infantry. But if you have cavs, you have mobility, so you can choose the battle you want to participate in, and you can choose the battle you want to retreat from. And personally, I have to say that having level 60 commanders in the game should be your #1 priority. Doesn't matter that they are peacekeeping commanders like Boudica and Lohar, which are probably going to be some of the first commanders you're going to reach to level 60. It doesn't matter if it's them, but you need level 60 commanders. Why? Is because the amount of troops capacity you can bring on your march. Reaching City Hall level 25 and having level 60 commanders, it already brings your march to 200k capacity. So this should be your main priority, trying to get commanders to level 60. Obviously, never pair peacekeeping commanders with peacekeeping commanders. So that's the reason why Spain is the second civilization. Now you have equipment which can also empower the experience you gain. But the problem is at the beginning of the game, alliances don't have technology, you don't have shrines, so there's a lot of bonuses that you're missing from, you know, gaining more experience. Because right now, if I would have to, let's say, start a new account and I would have to start in my kingdom, and I know I have my alliance with max technology, I probably don't need Spain, because we have the shrines, we have the max technology, I pretty much have everything I need. I could literally choose another civilization. So another option from Spain is actually China. Now, why is it China? That is because the building speed 5%. Getting your city hall to 25, that should be your #1 priority. As I said, I mentioned it. So obviously, trying to reduce the building speed, that means you're going to reduce your time to upgrade all your buildings. So China is a very viable contender to swap your civilization after you're starting civilization. So level 10 or whichever level you want to swap, you can swap to China, or if you want to start, you can even start with China. Sancho is a very good starting commander, infantry commander, and he's very powerful, he's very, very useful. Until you get your buildings where you want. Once you got your buildings where you want, you're probably not gonna benefit so much about building speed up, right? So you probably don't need China anymore. Then you can take your look, or you can orient yourself on a civilization like Japan, because you'll have to do a lot of technology. But bear in mind that this is options that you need to take. So if you avoid going with Spain, that means you want to work more on developing your city, going with China or with Korea. And your progress on your commanders, especially on leveling, will be a little bit lower. Nothing crazy, but a little bit lower. You'll either have to kill, let's say, way more guardians, you need to spend a little bit more time in the game to try to compete with that 10% experience gain. So once you're done with your buildings, you switch to Korea, and then you gain from the 3% research speed, which obviously is going to help you tremendous once you get to the level 10 research, because those are a real pain. I'm telling you, any percentage you can reduce from those type of research, I mean, not quite any 1% doesn't mean anything, because I know it's Chancellor, which you need to be a rank 4 for that, and you gain another 1% research speed. There's nothing crazy, but 3% or anything over 3%, it's actually going to help you a lot on all your research. Very limited options for free to play, or very limited options of civilizations that you can choose from. But once you get very late into the game and you're actually having a lot of commanders, you have all your epics maxed out, then you can start choosing a specialization like everyone else. So for example, if you want to specialize on infantry, definitely want to go with Rome. The Roman infantry for field battles, they are the best. For defending, for example, a flag, I will be more inclined to go with France. Or people are going as free to play even with France because of the 20% healing speed. So you're noticing what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get to the point where I'm trying to explain you guys that every single civilization is very, very good. There is a lot of free to play players that are going with Germany because they want to benefit from the 5% training speed and action points recovery. More action points recovery you get, more barbarians you kill. That means you gain more experience. By having more action points and killing more barbarians, you gain more resources and whatever other things the barbarians give you. So there you go. Germany is also a very good contender for free to play. So I'm trying to get to the point where I'm trying to explain you guys that every single civilization is good. It's not like the best civilization. For field battles, any civilization is good. Now that I'm playing for over a year, I can tell you exactly like I just started with. This is the order of the civilization. You want to start with a peacekeeping commander, then you want to level up your commanders. This is one option. Or you want to start with China, get your buildings where you want to, and then you want to swap to Korea so you can get your research done. Japan, increased troops attack and resource gathering speed, scout march speed. There's nothing crazy about it. And I get to the point of this video where I'm gonna explain, this is gonna be the part for pay to win players, because basically the pay to win players are the ones that launch rallies, right? I'm actually trying to explain more and more the importance of civilization, because like I was mentioning, I'm playing for over a year and there's a lot of things that I have noticed in the game. Obviously I also have a lot of experience. So every single civilization, they have a very high importance from a rally perspective point. If they are not, let's say Korea or China or Spain, you know, which are very good for leveling, most of the civilizations, they are oriented for rally. That's where it's actually going to benefit to all defending. One of the two. Because, for example, France has troops held and throwing axemen, and actually infantry, from my experience, they benefit when they defend. So for example, if you do a full infantry defense, they benefit a lot more from health. When you use infantry on the field battles, that's why I advise Rome all the time. So if you're doing a lot of infantry matches for the field battles, that's where you need more defense. And so you guys can understand what I'm trying to say is because they have the special units, and usually the special units, they have more stats. I'm gonna go in the city and explain you what I'm talking about. So you're noticing that these are normal T5 Cavs. They have attack, defense and health. I'm not looking at the green one because those are my stats, my bonuses, attack, defense and health, that is on top of the normal ones. And if I go to the special units, which in my situation is the Janissary, Elite Janissary, I do apologize, they have extra attack, defense and health. It's same that every special units, they have extra attack, defense and health than any normal units. So this is where swapping the civilization comes in effect. This is why I'm usually an archer commander. If you go to your profile and you go to the support section, and there is a couple of usually asked questions, and one answer on one of the usually asked question is, the answer is that all the troops in a rally will copy the stats of the rally leader. So that works for defense as well. So I get to the point where I was trying to explain you guys in one of my live stream. There was King of Armenia, that's exactly what I'm talking about. He was solo defending a flag against 3 rallies. So this is one mistake he's done, because I believe that he was with Ottomans. Yeah, so he was with Ottomans. This is the exact civilization that I have selected. So he was with Ottomans, and he was defending with infantry. He was having the infantry design, the Babylonian Garden plus 10% attack. He was pouring in T5 infantry one after another. So this is one mistake that he done, that he didn't swap to Rome. So he probably killed around 7 to 8 million T5 infantry trying to solo defend that flag, but he didn't switch to Rome. He would have inflicted way more damage if he would have swapped to Rome or France. One of the two. I would be more inclined for Rome. I just love the legionnaires, yo. Even in defense, even though the health benefits more in defense or in rallies, I was still be inclined to use Roman infantry in defense. just because they are just awesome. They look really good. But in a defense or in a rally, health benefits more. That's what I've noticed. But in defense or field battles, especially, those are the legionnaires, where I would use them. If I would have to launch rallies, where it is Japan, this is where the special unit samurai come in effect. They have the highest attack infantry in the game. So if I would have to launch rallies with Alexander the Great, I would definitely go with the samurais. I would swap civilizations, and I would definitely go with samurais leading the rally. Now this is the part where it comes when you need to choose the role in your alliance. So you want to be a Cav rally leader, you want to be an infantry rally leader, you want to be a defender, you know, whichever option you want to choose. That's exactly how you choose your civilization. Whichever commanders you're working on, that's exactly how you choose your civilization. For example, Arabia, right? Arabia is the best civilization you can choose for rallying neutral units. So anything that is neutral units, neutral objectives, or anything that you want to rally with Cavs. Because first you have special units Memlaks, 2 you have Cavs attack, and 3 you have damage dealt by rallied armies. So there's 3 options you already have on your Cavs or when launching rallies, right? So it would make perfect sense to be Arabia when you want to launch rally with Cavs. Now I'm Ottoman, and I launch rally with Cavs as well, and I'm using 4 marchers of Cavs on the battlefield. The reason I'm with Ottomans is not because they are very efficient, so cost effective. I actually spend a lot more resources because I'm using normal Cavs, and I'm using quite a lot of them. They work just because of the overwhelming power. But when I'm hitting infantry, for example, like legionnaires, I actually have more severely wounded, or the same severely wounded, actually a little bit more, when hitting Roman infantry. So I'm hitting with T5 Cavs, I'm hitting T5 Roman infantry, and it actually hurts me more than it hurts the target. And I'm destroying the target, I'm demolishing the target, but it actually hurts me a little bit more. Just because I have normal Cavs, and you know, they just take a little bit extra damage. I also love the march speed, so that's the reason I choose Ottoman. I will say that Ottoman is the most universal all-around civilization. It actually is good for everything. When I started playing the game, we didn't have commanders like Genghis Khan, we didn't have commanders like Saladin, we didn't have commanders like Alexander the Great. There's a lot of nuking commanders that we didn't have. We had Minamoto, Double C, YSG El Cid. That's pretty much about it. Richard and Charles were the kings of the battlefield. So anyone that was using Richard and Charles, nobody was hitting Richard and Charles because you didn't have with what to kill them. So that's why I was always with France, or I was even switching with Robe. I was always with infantry because they were the, you know, the badass guys of the battlefield, Richard and Charles. But now, because they're introducing so many new king commanders, is the reason I'm with Ottomans. And it's not a bad choice if you want to focus on that particular part of playstyle, if you want to focus on only new king armies. But every player that are actually asking me question about, it's always about infantry. So I cannot advise you to actually go with Ottoman if you're focusing infantry. One civilization I haven't talked about is probably Byzantium. Marcus Helwich, I do apologize, bro. That's because the special unit, the elite cataphracts or cataphracts, they are very defensive cabs, and I personally don't see cabs being very defensive. I mean, any cavalry commander that you look at, they have nuke and they have skill damage. So they are so focused on doing a lot of skill damage and doing a lot of nuke. I don't really see the point of having health or defense on your cavalry units. And I'm talking by stats, like their normal attack, defense, and health stats. They are very powerful in defense. They have the highest defense on the battlefield. And then they have hospital capacity, stone gathering. Not much stuff that would actually benefit you, but I have players that are actually fan of Byzantium. They don't want to switch, so they probably know something I don't. Right. I think that's pretty much all I can really answer you about civilization. Britain, for example. Let me just finish with this. So, as I mentioned, if I would have to defend, or if I would have to send rallies, I mentioned that I would be with Rome or with France. One of them, I would be more inclined for Rome. If I would have to launch rallies with cabs, I would prefer to be Arabia. For archers is Ottomans, but I'll be more inclined to go with the British. The reason is because longbowmen, they have the highest attack, and on top of that you get archers attack plus 5%, which it actually needs to be tested. But when I was Britain, because of the troops training speed, I have to say that I was really hyped about the special unit, about the British longbowmen, the elite ones. They were doing quite high amount of damage. So if I would have to launch rallies, so if I would afford the, how to say it, if I would afford to actually spend and keep changing civilization every time it's needed, I would actually launch rallies with British or with the Britain civilization rather than with Ottomans. But Ottomans have skill damage, they have the Janissary, they actually work. So all around, you know, Ottomans work either with cabs or with archers. But there are the best options, and this is why every civilization is unique. This is why every civilization is good. This is why every civilization has his unique features. This is why I spend so much time talking about, so I can you know, make you guys understand. It's not just everything all about commanders. When you want to get the best results, you need to line up everything. You need to line up stats, you need to line up civilization, commanders, talent builds. There is quite a lot if you want to get the best results. Equipment, now we have the equipment that also plays a very important role into the game. Having the right equipment, everything matters. Right, that's pretty much all I have to say. I believe if you think there is any question that you need answered, you can always drop a comment in the comment section below and I'll be very happy to answer it to you. Until next time, this is your boy Legend Ronnie signing off. Best of the best. Peace out, y'all. Take care.